Hi, welcome back to my channel. So this episode is a violin tutorial for Henry Schradieck's The School of Violin Technique Book 1 and Lesson 1 and 2. Since they are all practiced on the same string, so I will teach them together. So before I decided to record this lesson, I was searching on the whole internet and I didn't see anybody is doing the whole series of the Henry Schradieck's all 3 books, and I'm trying to challenge that, and hopefully I can give all the tutorials for all the lesson and each line, because I know when you study you might want to see what it sounds like, and if the teacher give you some assignments you want to know what is the right way to play. So I want to be the one to help everybody on that, and especially I will give special tips for small hands violinists, especially you have short pinky. Here is a short introduction on how this video would structure. So the first part will be lesson 1 and the second part will be lesson 2. And you can click the timestamp to choose where you want to study. And before I show you how to play each line, I will explain the important things of each lesson. What should you be looking for? So for these 2 lessons, you can see on each line, the slur is over 2 measures, which this is not very friendly for the beginners. So here's what I will do. I will play each lesson 3 times in different speed, from slow tempo, medium tempo to faster tempo. So by the way, if you see the bottom of this piece, it says the tempo must be lessened or accelerated according to the ability of the pupil, but it's generally moderate. So for the fast tempo, I will not be super fast, but if you are advanced players, you can do that. Consider the level of all learners. Here is a metronome tempo I will choose. For the slow tempo, it will be quarter notes equals to 45. For middle tempo, it's quarter notes equals to 65. And for the fast tempo is quarter note equals to 80. And even though each line has repeat signs, but I will only play once for each of them, and I will just use my bowing as it comes. So for the slow tempo, I will play 8 16th note, which is 2 groups of 16 notes in one bow, and the middle tempo I will play 4 groups of 16th note in one bow, which is 1 measure 1 bow. And for the fast tempo I will play 2 measures, all the 16th notes in one bow. Okay, so you can choose whatever works for you. This kind of bowing is matched with the tempo. It's more friendly for you to learn. Alrighty, so here is the lesson 1. For this lesson, there are 3 main points you should look for when you practice. So first is you have to keep your left hand the structure. When you play those notes, make sure you only move your fingers but without moving your wrist. Bend your wrist in either way and changing the structure. When you do that, you want to still make sure your wrist here is relaxed. It's not because you want to keep the shape and tense it. So feel here is flexible and relaxed. And remember to use the right pressure to hit the string, and make sure your finger hit the string with the gravity but without overdoing the work. If you want to learn more about this point, I did mention that in the last video, so check that out. And the second thing is about the right hand. Since now we're playing these exercises on 1 string, so make sure you don't really move your upper arm and keep it steady. You basically only need like your lower arm to do the work. And the third point is, since we're using different tempos and using different bowings, so plan your bow very wisely. If you never think about this point, think about it, which is a very important thing. Is called bow distribution. We will also mention it in the later tutorials, so keep tuned. Alrighty, that is all what you have to look for when you practice lesson 1. And now I'll play lesson 1 in 3 speed, and you can find the timestamps below and choose what you want to learn. is a medium tempo, which is 65. Good job. And now let's get to the fast tempo. job! That is all the first lesson. If you have any questions, comment below. Before we start the lesson 2, if you like my contents and feel it's useful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe my channel so you don't miss any contents. Now let's get into lesson 2. First, I will share some of the important things you need to be aware of when you practice this lesson. There also have 3 points I want to share. So this lesson starting to have a new thing is extended fourth finger, and this is a very important thing that I mentioned in the last video. If you missed it, please go check. I mentioned when you do the extended fourth finger, especially when you have small pinky, what should you do to keep your hand in a stable structure? So this is also the second point. When you do the extended finger, keep your hand structure steady. And the third point is in this lesson, it's starting to have a lot of accidental notes, so be aware of your intonation. If you're the beginners, you can use the tuner or play on the piano to assist you with the intonation. The same thing, I will play this lesson 3 times in slow, medium, and fast tempo. You can use the timestamps below to jump to the place you want to study. Okay, now it's a medium tempo using 65. Good job. That is all the medium tempo. And now let's get into the fast tempo, which is 80. If you did all of it, I'm so proud of you. I think if you use a slow, medium, and a fast tempo, this is also a very good warm-up exercise you can use. If you have any questions, comment below to let me know, and I will see you the next video.